Islam Makhachev has made a bold choice. He's staying at welterweight. In a recent and rare interview with MMA Fighting, Islam opened up about everything: his future in the sport, the matchups he's watching closely, and the shift in his career path. When asked about the upcoming fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, Islam didn't sugarcoat anything. He called the fight a pure 50/50 matchup. According to him, if Ilia lands a clean shot, it could be lights out for Charles. But if the fight goes to the ground, Islam thinks Charles will finish it easily. He highlighted Charles' record, especially how well Oliveira performs against strikers. Islam made it clear he still sees Ilia as a striker above all else, which means if Charles gets the fight to the mat, things could go downhill for Il Matador real fast. But the real twist came when Islam talked about a possible showdown with Kamaru Usman. He didn't dance around it, he's seriously interested. In fact, he confirmed that his focus is now fully on welterweight and the exciting matchups waiting for him there. Now, what about the lightweight belt? When asked if the UFC forced him to give it up, Islam gave a polished answer. He said it was his decision. He claimed he didn't want to stall the division, but anyone who's followed him knows he's said something very different in the past. He once said he didn't want to vacate the title, so now even though he's presenting it as his call, it's pretty clear there might be some backstage drama that hasn't come out yet. Whatever the case, one thing's obvious: Islam is all in on welterweight now. There's no turning back.
It depends, man. Who can follow his MMA, who can follow his game plan, you know? If Charles can take him down, he can finish him easy in the ground. Or if Topuria catch him, he gonna sleep, you know. And two options. Who is gonna make the game plan working? He have chance, he have big chance, you know. Yeah. And he always fight good against the striking, you know, striking. We have good striking against Poirier, he fight good against Chandler, he fight good. Both have good punch. Both is very good in stand-up, but if Charles have small chance, if you give him small chance, he gonna finish. That's why Charles always dangerous. I will put 50-50.
Yeah, 50-50? Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Taru can also make weight, you know. If he make weight now and show people I can make weight,
Meanwhile, Charles Oliveira is laser-focused and fired up as he heads into battle with Ilia Topuria. In a recent interview, Charles revealed that this is the moment he's been preparing for. As soon as he got the call, he said yes immediately. He wasn't surprised. After his win over Chandler, he knew the opportunity was coming. For Charles, the belt has always been the goal, not any specific opponent. He made it clear he wasn't avoiding Islam. He flat out said that if Islam still held the belt, he'd be the one Charles would be fighting, but since Islam has moved up, Oliveira's eyes are locked on whoever's in front of him now, and that's Ilia Topuria. Charles was honest about the unknowns when it comes to Ilia's move up to lightweight. He knows from experience how tough changing weight classes can be. He's curious to see how Ilia handles it. And about those betting odds? Charles isn't sweating it. A lot of people seem to be siding with Ilia, but Charles isn't fazed. He said people are free to believe what they want, but his supporters know his record speaks for itself. No one in UFC history has more finishes than Charles Oliveira. When Ilia claimed he'd finished Charles in the first round, Charles didn't take the bait. He brushed it off and made it clear Ilia can talk all he wants. What matters is what happens when that cage door locks. Charles believes in himself. He doesn't bother with trash talk, he just shows up and fights. He's not changing who he is for anyone. He knows Ilia brings pressure and knockout power, but Charles reminds everyone he brings the same fight. He loves brawling. He loves going toe-to-toe. He's expecting a war during International Fight Week. Two aggressive fighters, both explosive, both hungry to make a statement. That's why this fight is happening, and that's why fans are buzzing. Then came a dark cloud over the MMA world. New footage leaked of Conor McGregor punching a man at a party in Ibiza. And honestly, no one was surprised, just disappointed. This time, even Joe Rogan had enough. On his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan didn't hold back. He tore into McGregor, saying the Irish fighter had basically self-destroyed. Rogan compared Conor's downfall to another controversial star, Jon Jones. But here's the difference. Jon turned his career around. Conor, not so much. Rogan pointed out that while both Jon and Conor have had their share of scandals, Jones has somehow kept his career intact. he's still one of the most dominant fighters ever. He cleaned out the light heavyweight division, then moved up to heavyweight, beat Cyril Gane, set to face Stipe. No matter what personal issues he's had, Jon always came back better.
Jon's in a different category.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, Conor self-destructed in a lot of ways because of money. You know, I mean, he took that fight with Floyd Mayweather, made a ton of money off that, and then took a long time before he came back to MMA, and it's just not been the same guy since. And I think that's just, it's money, it's a lot of partying, but it's the same kind of thing. It's just a wild, but in his prime, when Conor was in his prime, he was fucking assassin.
Amazing.
He was a fucking assassin. Your body can only compete at the highest levels for so long, which is one of the things that's so...
Rogan praised Jones for being a freak of nature in the octagon. He reminded listeners that Jones has never truly been beaten, except for that odd DQ loss to Matt Hamill. Rogan described him as a special dude. He said we'll all miss him when he's gone. Jon was just 23 when he won the UFC title, the youngest ever, and from there he steamrolled everyone, never ducked any opponents, took on the best, beat the best, then went up a division and conquered that too, pure dominance. And then Rogan turned the focus back to McGregor. Once the face of the UFC, McGregor hasn't stepped into the cage since 2021 when he broke his leg in a brutal fight against Dustin Poirier, and even before that he had already lost 2 straight fights. In a classic McGregor move, he fired off a tweet at Rogan calling him a fool and a tick, only to delete it shortly after. That's just Conor. Lash out, delete, act like nothing happened, rinse and repeat. The contrast between the two fighters couldn't be clearer. Jones had issues, but his legacy remains intact. McGregor, on the other hand, is watching his career crumble in slow motion. And now the question is being asked everywhere, what really happened to Conor McGregor? Was it the fame, the money, the non-stop parties, the distractions? Or did he just lose the fire that once made him great? Let us know what you think in the comments. But as all this drama unfolds, Ilia Topuria is staying focused not just on UFC 317, but on what comes next. Winning the lightweight title is just the first step for him. Topuria already has his sights set on another name, Paddy Pimblett, and the beef between them, it's real, it runs deep, and Ilia wants to settle it. If he beats Charles Oliveira, Ilia wants to defend the belt against Paddy, and he's already imagined the perfect scenario. Paddy fights Justin Gaethje, wins, and skyrockets into title contention. Then it's Paddy vs Ilia for the belt, and for revenge. It might sound like a fantasy, but Ilia isn't joking. But he knows how massive that fight would be. The history, the tension, the fans. It would be one of the biggest events in UFC history. Ilia even praised Gaethje, saying he's a huge fan of his fighting style, but he believes Paddy would win easily because of the matchup. Not because Justin isn't good, but because styles make fights. And in Ilia's view, Paddy has the tools to beat him. That's a big statement. Do you agree with Ilia? Could Paddy beat Gaethje? And would you want to see Paddy versus Topuria for the title? Let us know below, and remember, these fights, these rivalries, and all the ups and downs of the fighters we love, and sometimes love to hate, are what keep MMA fans coming back.